gross. I can't believe you said that.
She was like, huh? And with that being said, welcome back, gamers, to the Experience Points podcast. This is episode 29, and the date is June 4th, 2021. I can't believe it's June already, but we are back with the full crew. Welcome back, Blackout.
What up, G's?
Welcome back, Kim the Great.
Howdy ho.
And welcome back, Mr. 100% Gamer, Kevin.
100% gamer. Odie hi.
On tonight's episode, we are going to be chatting about all things Final Fantasy XIV, the origin of the game, the time that we took to create it, and the soundtrack that I specifically made for each and every part of the game. No, I'm just joking. we're just going to be chatting about the game, and since I have 3 decade-long players, literally, I'm excited to hear their opinions on the game, since I've been only playing for a few months now, but I'm really enjoying it. So, anyway, how's everybody doing?
Has it been a decade?
It's been about 7 years. I believe this is the 7-year anniversary, I think the 8-year anniversary is coming up this like August or whenever it is.
I saw that the game came out in 2011.
Well,
I think that's what the copyright says. I don't even know. Maybe that's the first anything now.
No, I think that's like betas and stuff like that because they that's a good. Well, that might count 1.0, but 1.0 is not garbage.
hold on, I'm Googling it. 2013.
And Kevin's new nickname is Mr. Google.
So me and Eric have been playing. Me and Eric have been playing since August of 2013, and Kim didn't start until about 2 years after because it was already having the first expansion when she started.
I gotcha.
So the first expansion started, and then Kevin was playing it, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll do the free trial or whatever, because
your favorite thing.
And I was playing it a little bit, and I think I played it just a few hours, and I was like, okay, fine, this game is awesome. Like, this is really fun. And it's been a dark tunnel of joy ever since.
She's the walking example of the Final Fantasy 14 meme. Hey, you should try out Final Fantasy 14. It's got a no time limited demo and it's award winning and
she should literally be like getting paid to advertise that because she's the one that always has that every time I look, and she's got those corny commercials and everything going on.
Here, take a look at Answers. Answers is the best thing ever. Here, watch it.
I can't say how many times I shared that. If you guys saw my chat history on my work chat on Microsoft Teams, on the people that I talk to, I've talked them into the free trial. I haven't actually talked them into it successfully, but I've talked it up. I've shared the Answers video because just watching that, how could you watch it and not get the feels? Like,
No.
And it's just so powerful. And so, if you were to see my work, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, she's got problems. We need to rehab her."
She is preaching the gospel.
You guys are so mean. Be nice. Be nice.
And my coworker friends that are also gamers, they don't give a rat's ass about Final Fantasy 14. They're playing their other shit.
Wow.
They're not in MMOs. But I'm still trying to play. I'm like, come on, this is fun time. You're gonna have fun. All the cool kids are doing it.
All the cool kids. Got that Final Fantasy 14, man.
I'm really bad. I'm like
she's that Dave Chappelle meme with the coke crack on his nose.
Tyrone Biggums.
Final Fantasy 14.
That is very accurate. That's very accurate.
And then she goes to play Assassin's Creed instead for 5 months.
I was about to say the same thing.
Only reason she's playing right now is because she sees how close I am to completing the triple triad thing. She's like, oh, hell no. I ain't letting Blackout beat me on that one.
Okay. I'll tell you this, and I'll tell anybody. So, I've always been on playing Triple Triad, and I've been playing it for a long time. I've been trying to work on the cards, very low key, casual. But when I found out Eric was actually going to try and make an effort, I was like, okay, fine. It's going to take him forever. It's been taking me forever. It's taking me years to work out, right?
It took me like a
And I
week.
found out how close he was actually, and I was like, oh, hell no. I
Yep.
was like,
See, there you go.
that shit is on.
Kim,
That shit
there's
is
a,
on.
like-
And
Last week she's like, shh, don't tell anybody. I'm low key competing with Eric to get triple triad cards. I'm like, you ain't low key nothing.
So there's a new nickname for Kim now, based on the information I just heard. Black Kim is a thing. Oh hell no! So I wanted to ask you guys, like the evolution of the game and how far it's come. And when Eric and I did our very first Game of the Year episode, which is still one of my favorite episodes that we've done. Check it out on YouTube, Experience Points Podcast. Eric literally talked about the game for like 15 minutes, and he just raved about it. And you know, he mentioned the fact that from the beginning of the series that it wasn't really, you know, as good, but then it just got so much better. And to quote Blackout, he said they went hard in the paint several times.
Hell yeah, it went hard in the paint.
So with that being said,
What does that even mean?
how do you guys, I know, right? How do you guys feel about the evolution of the
It
series
means
from
you
start
go
to end?
hard in the paint.
So if you want to understand the life of Killer the dog, you have to know. If you want to really see something, like there's this one group that did like a whole documentary type thing on YouTube. It was the history of Final Fantasy 14. It was like the rise and fall of Final Fantasy 14. Because Final Fantasy 11, as you know, is also online, and they saw the success of that, and they were like, well, let's do another MMO. We'll do it like different gameplay, you know, whole whatever. But they still kind of based the races very similar to what races you had in Final Fantasy 11.
Very similar. It kind of
In the
that crap.
in the 1.0 era, I think it was actually, like Eric said, carbon copy. The cat girls were only able to be female, and I think the Rogadins were only male.
Yep.
But when they released it for 2.0 for after everything, that's when they released female and male for those two races. It's just that so the original game, there were no zoned instances. It was all one big giant map, and it really put a lot of stress on a computer. I wanted the game, but I didn't have a computer that could run the game, and so I was holding out for the promised PS3 version that was supposed to be coming.
I think I pre-ordered that thing like 2 years before.
And like one of our buddies, he bought it for the PC and had a subscription, but never actually played it really. But since he had paid briefly for a subscription, he was able to get the legacy status when 2.0 came out. Okay, so backing up here, all the zones were just one big zone. You didn't have to zone out from the cities to go into the wild areas or anything like that. It was just you could see the remnants in the areas you're at right now, but basically a lot of it was just reusing hallway based pathways and stuff. Okay. So it loads as you're walking through. Like when you're leaving the cities and stuff, it's a long walkway or something. The Gridania, I think that's where you're at right now. A lot of those wooded areas were just like copy pasted stuff that they just to make it bigger so that things could load up as you're going around.
I see. So,
But yeah, just the way it played. I think it has legacy controls that you could actually select in the game now, and then it gives you a slight feel of how the controls were. But your character couldn't turn on a dime. Like if you're going one direction and you want to go the other direction, you'd have to do a full circle. Like
ooh,
I
to
forgot
I
about
hate
that
that.
crap.
That is a pet peeve of mine. 100%. I hate that with a passion.
Well, and
Um,
it's the most realistic too.
But Yoshi P came into play because the thing was the game was considered a failure because of just all the specs were just so high. The game was beautiful from what I've heard, and it had its moments that were like really fun, but it it was financially a flop, and there were a lot of complaints. It was far from perfect, and
Very glitchy.
they tried a lot of different things to make the game better. The Yoshi P was putting in there. Um, that's when I think they started adding jobs like Paladin, like advanced jobs, and they even like added to where enemies were attacking the little settlements in the on the outer areas of the
Hamlet.
cities. Yeah, Hamlet. And that brought like crafters in and gatherers into it because they craft and gather stuff to help benefit for their side. And then that with that not working, making things better and things not getting better, that's when they decided to basically, okay, it's time to shut down the servers and just basically redo it all. And that's where that video answers come in. I think it was like multiple months before the server actually went down, where they had the red moon, Dalamon just like getting bigger in the sky because it's getting closer and closer.
I heard
And, like,
about
Some
that.
YouTube videos on
And
that.
the whole
Like,
time,
people are actually
Music.
playing it and watching it as it comes down, and like,
I
oh my
heard
god, it's
about
coming,
that,
it's
and
coming.
then I actually saw some videos on that, and people were like freaking out about it, like what the hell's going on?
yeah,
It was pretty. That was really cool.
It really
I wish I could
suspense.
actually go back in time for that.
there was
Called
other
YouTube.
there were other aspects as well, like the aetherite crystals that you can use to teleport in the wild, the enemy infested areas. Those were being taken over by Atomos. If you remember that, the big giant. I don't know if you played Final Fantasy V.
No, I've not played 5.
Okay, so Atomos is like just like this big giant gateway thing. In Final Fantasy V, it was a boss fight. And the way that boss fight worked is as you're going in, or as you're fighting it, as the turns go along, Atomos actually sucks your characters towards it, and if you get sucked in, you die. Basically, you're just dead. It's like in Final Fantasy XI, it was used as like a portal to go back in time, and I think in 14 it's kind of it shows up here and there in some of the raids that include their
Spoilers, cough,
associated to voids.
there.
That's not. I'm not
That's
saying
fine.
anything spoilery. But yeah, so I mean, a lot of people had a lot of fun with the game. I mean, the people that really enjoyed 1.0, and there's a lot of people that still like think fondly of it. But they're also the same people who are like, it's so much better now.
I gotcha. So Kim, how about you, girl? Since you were a later adopter to the series, how have your feelings evolved toward the series over time?
Well, let me just say, like, I came in, so Kevin was on Heavensward, the first expansion, when I came in, and I was just starting A Realm Reborn at that time. So everybody in the Freak Company was like, oh, hey, you want to do Expert? And I was like, yeah, I want to do Expert. Oh, you can't. You just started the game. I'm like, oh, pretty much. So I felt like a way, way behind everybody else. So, I mean, I'm sure you could probably sympathize with that one because like everybody's like leaps and bounds like I had. But there's still so much to do and so much to enjoy. Like even as everybody's enjoying endgame content at that time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting there just taking my time and just doing things that I never thought that, like, I don't know, I'm just enjoying it, getting my feel for it and appreciating it. And when I finished the story for A Realm Reborn, it finally entered into the realm of Heavensward.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh my god, like my heart was beating. I was like, oh my god, is like shit's happening. Like it's really picking up now. I was getting so excited. It was just like the story. So granted, they nerfed the game like a lot. Like they took out a lot of unnecessary story, like a lot of fetch quests and stuff like that from main story.
Mm-hmm.
Don't kick up my poop.
Yeah. So
What?
it's still like things pick up. Like things are picking up crazily. And when Heavensward starts happening, like the story gets really, really good, and
Mm-hmm.
it only gets better. Like from every expansion, I can't even tell you what my favorite expansion is because
Stormblood.
well, no,
I
no,
like
I
Stormblood.
love
It's
them all.
okay.
I love them all. Every single expansion brings something special, and it brings something like good to the story.
That's
And
how I feel. I don't understand the hate for Stormblood. It had a good story to it.
I don't hate Stormblood. I just don't care for.
Not you,
Anyway.
but in general, a lot of people like hate on Stormblood big time.
I don't know.
I
I
know.
love
I actually do
Stormblood.
like Stormblood.
I
I think
love them
Stormblood is some
all.
of the best music.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I actually went on hiatus when the game first came out. I played it on the PS3 when it first released, and then I played it for a little bit, and then I kind of just fell out of it for like a few months. And I came
Easily
back,
because
like everybody I knew was already like level 50 and stuff. I'm like, well, damn.
Sounds like me.
well, PS3 version really. Oof, go on with the story. Yes, PS3
What?
version is terrible. I'm just talking about how horrible the PS3 version was. Go on with the story.
Well, sorry. Okay.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that like it was I think like February or March after the PS3 released or after it released that they put the PS4 beta through, and as soon as I played it on the PS4, and I saw like the big change in the graphics and how everything was, I was like, I can never go back to the PS3. I can't. It's like
Can you imagine
I'm
if somebody
done.
went from the PS3 straight to the PS5? Like, just
Dude,
night and day difference.
PS3 was a big flaming pile of shit in
Well, okay.
comparison to the PS4 even.
So since you've been playing it, Cyrus, have you noticed like if you wear like a loose fitting shirt or something, how the fabric kind of flows?
100%.
So on the PS3 version, it didn't do that. It was all basically plastic.
It was all static. Poor babies. That's funny.
I think the most the PS3 ever allowed.
First world problems right there.
I think the most
I know,
the
right?
PS3 ever improved on with that one was adding the wet effect if you go into water or get hit by a water spell.
That's pretty cool. But I mean, at the time, of course, I mean, it looked good, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, no,
Until you saw it on the PS4 or the PC. The
Yeah, I was gonna
PS3, you're
say,
like, this is not good.
because I bought the game on PS3, and then it's like I saw how horrible it was to play, so then I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it on PC. I didn't have a good PC at the time when I first got it, but I was like, I'm gonna get this on PC. And
Wow.
I could not go back to PS3, but at one point I had to go back for a few days because I think my controller broke or something like that. So I had no choice but to play on PS3. And it was like torture. It was literally like torture. Let me tell you, it's like, okay, you're like when you go to you're going into like a dungeon and you're about to do a boss fight, like so you can skip cutscenes although you don't really necessarily want to, but on PS3 you had to let the cutscene load before you could even watch it. And if you wanted to skip the cutscene, it still took like 30 seconds.
Yeah, see, I don't remember all that because of that hiatus I took.
Yeah, you're lucky. Oh, and then it was nearly impossible to be a healer on PS3 because like PS3 was so slow like even scrolling through like the party list, it was like a 5 second like stall every time you press down on the D-pad. So like, let's say let's say I'm like the top, and I need to heal somebody that's like 2 down. It's gonna take about 8 seconds before I can even target them.
See, and I didn't even know any better because when I first started playing, I was playing solely on PlayStation 3. Like 100% I was playing on PlayStation 3. And the only other thing
You had a PS4 by then.
Well,
I hope you
no,
weren't
I
good enough to
eventually, then I moved to PlayStation 4. But I was going to ask, when did PlayStation 4 come out relative to the expansions? Like,
It was out before Heaven's Sword.
It
Was
came
it?
out like probably, I want to say the
It
first
came out like
year
it came
ARR
out like
was out.
6 months. It came out like 6 months after it released.
Well, okay, that makes sense though because I got a PlayStation 4 well after release. I think it was like a year or so, maybe 2 years after
Wow.
PlayStation 4 came out.
You
Like it was a while.
you had a PS4 before you played Final Fantasy 14.
I
Why
know
would you use
I had it on the
that
PlayStation
PS3?
3. I had it on the PlayStation 3. So I
No, you
remember doing
didn't.
the
I'm
transfer.
telling you, you didn't.
But I remember doing the transfer.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
Oh, maybe I was
If she
looking.
said she had it on PS3, she had it on PS3. I won't deny that. Maybe you bought it on PS3 because it was super cheap and then you transferred.
No, well, no.
No,
it's
she
very,
played it
very
on the
likely-
PS4.
No, it's very likely I'm thinking about Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh
very,
god.
very likely.
The only
Very,
other game that's
very likely.
transitioned from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 5.
You know.
But I know
Oh, man.
I thought I could
That'd
have
be
swore.
crazy.
Now
Not
I'm
the only
telling you,
game.
I could have swore I
Well-
remember going through the transition of having to download my character and doing the upgrade from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4. I could have swore up and down that I've gone through that.
Yeah, that was GTA 5, dear.
Because I had a white PlayStation 3 that I thought I started off playing it. Because
Really?
no, actually
Yeah, she had
no.
a top-loading
I did.
PS3.
I did because
What?
I was playing it in the summertime. I
That's
started
like a
playing
new model.
when Heaven's Sword
I
came
gotta
out
see
in the
this.
summer. I was playing it, but I wasn't playing Heaven's Sword content yet. But I was playing it, and the PlayStation. I remember getting it around like Black Friday, like months later. So I think I was playing it for a few months, just for a few months on PlayStation 3. I'm willing to bet.
I forgot all about this PlayStation 3. Oh, Lord, it's ugly.
I know, such old news.
It's ugly little
Like
thing.
people are trying to forget about it, and here we are rehashing it.
How dare you, Kim?
PS3 got an update to it.
That was a solid system, I will tell you.
It was. It still has some bangers that I haven't even played, but yeah, there's a lot of good games on it.
I
I never had any problems with the PlayStation 3.
I actually played one last year that I never played before, called Enslaved. That was a badass game right there. It was fun. All right, just give me your quick overviews of your time and your years with Final Fantasy 14. Eric, go.
Okay, let's see. I've had a lot
And
of
you will
good times.
refrain from saying going hard in the paint.
Okay,
Good.
first of all, just for people who are wondering and that may not be
Like
black or
everyone.
basketball players, going hard in the paint implies that, like, on the basketball court, you're near the basketball rim, and then you're just like dominating. You're gonna like go hard in the paint.
I don't think you have to explain that, Joe. So
I don't know. Some people might not
he
know.
did, but it
Anyways,
still didn't help.
anyways, my overview. Final Fantasy 14 is a great game. Now, I will not lie. There are a few things that I wish it did better because, like, the one thing that I will say more than anything, Final Fantasy 14 does not have the same social factor that I believe an MMO
11.
should, like Final Fantasy 11. Like, you don't, like, you might make a lot of friends on 14, but you might never even talk to these friends. Like, you have no reason to talk to them because Duty Manager pretty much does all the work for you. Like, in the original Final Fantasy 11, you had to literally talk to people. You had to, like, put your flag up. You might be waiting for like 2 or 3 hours to get a party invite because the
That's
parties are
terrible.
like real time.
Well, yeah,
And-
and you would be with that party of people for like hours leveling up
hours.
in the spot. That's how I met Eric.
Friends. Yeah.
I mean, you become like comrades and commiseration for that.
You do. It's like you just remember this stuff. Like you remember your Dooms parties and your first trip to Vasco and all that other fun stuff. Like in this game, it's like, oh, hi, bye, never see you again. Okay. Like you might see people on your server, but more like you never have to talk to people on your server, and the people in your party you may never see again. Like duty finds, it's just not the same.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I've sent friend requests to people like that seem cool that I've talked to and stuff, but then like it just never, like, oh yeah, cool, we're on my friends list, whatever.
Yeah, you never
talk to you never again.
You might wave at them every now and then when you see them, but then you never talk to them. That's one thing that I just wish that 14 did better. It's a great game.
Well,
like,
I will agree with that aspect. I mean, I haven't been playing as long as you guys have, but I did have quite a few instances where I would like try to go help somebody, like in like a random fight. It wasn't even like a duty or whatever, duty. But I would just go help somebody, and they would stand there and wave and do a little dance and run off. I'm like, well, stay in chat for 2.5 seconds. Shit, don't just run off. So, all right, Kevin, how about you?
Summing up my life in Final Fantasy, hiatus. Hiatus and trying to get Eric to do stuff with me.
That's hilarious.
No, I mean, it's hard to really sum up that kind of a game. I mean, there's been many moments that have been like super emotional that like last night actually, I finishing up the last fight in the current raid series, not raid but the trials that we did last night. That second video that Kim posted, like finishing that storyline up, like. I was probably like a little tired at the same time, and that makes me a little bit more susceptible to this. But like, it made me ugly cry. Like that last cutscene that they showed.
That one was pretty sad. Yeah.
That killed me. Like I was like, yeah, I'm done. It's like I broke.
Oh, that makes me wish I didn't skip it.
You
really, Kelly?
Fuck you. You need to start up that New Game Plus now. Redeem yourself.
Regardless, yes, they have some very touching stories and like stuff that really do make you feel sad.
My God, it was so important too.
Straight up, if you're emotional, you're gonna be super emotional when you play Shadowbringers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There are some aspects of the Shadowbringer story that when you realize what's going on and it just fucking clicks, then you're just gonna be like, "Yep, I'm 2 years old and I don't have my bottle."
Yeah.
It's true. You get so emotionally invested in the character stories and their character development and just everything. Like the whole, like everything is just, and then all the pieces start falling into place. You're like, oh my God, like the shit's for real.
ARR didn't do it as much, but Heaven Sword has some moments in there.
Oh man,
like
especially on certain bridges and other things. Yeah,
certain bridges,
certain skyways.
Yeah, let's not do that. All right, Kim, how about you, girl?
So I have a very different type of personality. So the things that Eric was saying that were down, that were like a turnoff in a sense, were actually kind of like turn on for me for the game. So the reason why I did not want to play I actually watched Kevin playing it from the start a little bit here and there. Didn't really care about it. I was like, why the fuck are you gonna pay to keep playing? Like, you pay for it once. You bought the game. You should not have to keep paying for it. The whole concept of MMO just triggered me. Like,
that's
what the hell?
too.
Yep,
sure did. Just an FYI, up until this year, I've been the one paying her sub, so.
Yeah.
So why the fuck is Kevin going to keep
so
paying for me to play this goddamn game all the goddamn time and all the goddamn fantasies?
I'm a very antisocial person. Even when I get to know somebody, like I can make friends with them and I like them and people will like me, but it's really hard for me to get to that point. And it's not because of I don't know, I just have a hard like with my background and everything like that. I
Hmm.
have a hard time really getting there. So the concept of having an online game where you have to interact with other people, you have to do things, is a very big turnoff for me.
I got
And
you.
it's one of the reasons why I never wanted to play the game.
I see.
However, that being said, I can still like with when you form your free company, you have your own clique, you have your own group, and that's fine. You have your own friends that you can feel comfortable with playing shit raids in and totally fuck it all up and not have them telling you, "Oh my god, you're a terrible healer. You should go kill yourself." Which, by the way, I have been told when one of my earlier when I was first playing the game.
Lord, it's not that serious.
Pure toxic. Pure toxic.
Hmm.
So like I mean, and I would get emotional. Like I would turn the game off and cry when I would have like I just can't handle that.
That's
She was she
bullying.
was
And people
she was
get
doing
banned for
the
doing that.
she was doing the Ravana raid EX before me, and then she just stopped raids because she made a few mistakes and someone told her that she should just go and die.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
no, like that stuff bugged me. So then I got to the point where I'm like, oh my god, I'll never see these people again. Who the fuck cares? Like,
Hmm.
so I'm much more stronger now than I was back then. So and I've definitely come out of my shell. But it still bugs me. So if I have a lot of like really bad parties, then you probably won't see me logging on for a while. Just because I need to like mentally recharge and get myself to where I need to be.
Oh yeah.
That aside, that aside, the whole online aspect is probably my only deterrent. However, I've made a lot of like good friends. Like I would have never known Eric for one if it wasn't for Final Fantasy 14. Even though Kevin has known him forever, it
Hmm.
seems. I
That
would have
is
never
true.
talked to him. It's like whatever. He's just an online friend. He's not like a real friend. You know, just like that's how I always was.
And then he walks through your door and sleeps on your couch.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Get that online friend off my fucking couch.
I know he's not for real. It's
Ah,
imaginary.
Yeah, he actually took me.
But the story itself, like getting when I was playing ARR, granted it was much more grindy for me than it is back when I was doing it years ago
Hmm.
than it is now. You
back in
become
my
so
day.
attached to the characters, the story.
Uh-huh.
And I would say I used to skip some of the story back when I first started because I
That's
don't know if I
me.
ever mentioned this in the podcast. I don't know if I mentioned it in the podcast before or not, but I have like ADD. And if I'm not in the right mindset, I will get bored as fuck watching something if they're dragging something on too long. And so I'm like, fuck it, skip it, moving on. Like I'm trying to just get on with it. But now it's just like I'm so into like invested in these stories. Like there have been a few times and Kevin's a little bit more emotional than I am. And he and let's just say that like I will like almost cry, like almost for me to almost cry on an imaginary game like imaginary stories is huge because I fucking like I have like a Vulcan heart, like I don't get
You
emotional
gotta
for
get
imaginary
logical.
shit like that. I'm pretty good at like blocking it,
Gotcha.
but like there's a couple times where I'm playing like Heaven's Order, Stormblood, or even like especially Shadowbringers. Oh my god, where shit's going down. I'm like, you better not. I'm like, want to lock the door because if somebody interrupts me while I'm watching this cutscene, I'm gonna like
They're dead.
ugly cry like right in front of them because I just like, oh my god, what happens? What happens? What happens? It's
Dude,
just,
like I said, this is why I hate spoilers.
I get so into it, and I've never felt that way about a game like that before. Now,
Gotcha.
Assassin's Creed games, I love them. They're so fun to play, and I do love the story behind them and how they're tie into our history. But the fact that something about Final Fantasy is just Final Fantasy 14 to specify, that it's just, it really makes me emotionally invested. And with my ADD, I have never played a game that long before. The longest I've ever played any game before Final Fantasy 14 would be like a Pokemon game on the 3DS
Yeah.
or something like that. And that would only be because I'd play it, catch all the Pokemon, complete my National Dex, and then restart it all over again.
Nope.
Nobody got time for
That
that.
last part is a negative.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, and that's why
Well, unless you lose your save file.
And then you may have time for that, but we'll see.
and that's the
No,
most
I ain't got time for that. I'm finishing it. I'm just gonna like trophy that thing. It's gonna be like mounted somewhere.
The reason why that's the case, where it's so easy to become invested in Final Fantasy 14, is because I'd say probably about like minimum 75% of the developers play the game also, so they are like 100% invested in the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you before, like the music producer for it, Soken, he announced over FanFest that he was diagnosed with cancer last year, and he was in the hospital by himself, refusing to not stop working, and did like the whole soundtrack for one of the patch updates that came out around the fall of last year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it was the one with. I think it was the one with the Warrior of Light.
Yeah.
Great theme.
But you could tell that they really love the game, and they're very open to listening to what like the fans have to say about the game. They're not at war with us. You know, they're there to make the game good for everybody. You know,
and they obviously can't cater to everybody's needs,
Right.
but they want to make it like where everybody's enjoying it.
yeah.
Final Fantasy has a long lineage, and it has been around for decades. And just the story of the start of the game is one of my favorite gaming stories of all time. Like, Final Fantasy was named Final Fantasy because it was the last ditch effort for them to make a good game before they went out of business, and then it just skyrocketed and became amazing. So thank you guys for your perspective on Final Fantasy 14. I do appreciate you guys getting me into the game because I've always loved Final Fantasy. I mean, my first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy 2 back in the day, but I mean, the first like legit Final Fantasy game.
You mean Final Fantasy 2 or Super Nintendo, as in Final Fantasy 5? I mean 4. Final Fantasy 4.
Yes, but I didn't beat the damn game. I just played around a little bit. But the first Final Fantasy game that I still claim to this day as my favorite, of course, is 7. As Jones just said several times, like a jackass. But I'm the thing I love about Final Fantasy 14 so far is the openness of it, the ability to just pretty much be and do whoever you want. And I realize. Shut up. I realized lately that I've been playing the game wrong. You know, I am a single player gamer above all else, and I've always been that way. I'll play some multiplayer from time to time, but I can't stand online games because people are assholes and they just they throw fits about stupid shit. And it's like, stop wasting my fucking time. You know, if you wanna cry in your mama's basement about some stupid shit, you do that. Don't involve me. So that's why I love single player games, because you know you have a definitive start and a definitive end most of the times.
And you can play at your own pace.
And you can play at your own pace so you can finish. But with Final Fantasy 14, I've realized that I've been trying to play it that way, and that's the wrong way to approach this game. So I've switched my perspective on the game, which is why I've gotten so drawn into it. I love exploring. I love just walking around and seeing things. A lot like Breath of the Wild, you know, for the Switch. That's one of my favorite games of all time, because you never know what's around the corner. You never know what you're going to see or run into, and the world begs to be explored. And it's the exact same thing with Final Fantasy 14. Now, I have not seen maybe 1% of this damn game, and I've unlocked quite a few areas. So I know there's so much more to come, and I cannot wait to see it more of it as I play. And of course,
Can I
with you guys'
can I ask you
guidance,
a question?
hit it.
So me and Kevin and Eric probably have been making you sick just constantly talking about Final Fantasy 14 all this time. And what was finally the straw that broke the camel's back that finally is like, okay, fine, I will finally download the game.
It was that girl. It was that girl that he called for Square Enix.
Yep. Kevin is not lying. Kevin is not lying.
You're not impressed.
She sounded cute as fuck. So she.
Because we only got him to play for like a week.
He's like, no, I'm bored. Well, if she says so.
I just imagined her having cat ears and glasses, and then that did it from right there.
No, yeah, I think that was your biggest mistake going into it, and it's something that you have to learn. Is you were trying to do too much at once, and it's just a lot of times it's better just to focus on like one thing here and there.
And that's exactly what it was. I got overwhelmed with the jobs and.
Yeah,
and I thought I had to do.
Easy to get overwhelmed.
I thought I had to
Very
do them
easy.
all because you get the achievements and stuff like that. But I felt like I had to do those things, but I realized that I didn't.
Yeah, and if you want to treat it like a solo game, like you would play, like take your time and stuff, then that's perfectly fine also. Because a lot of people play the game as if it's a solo game with like with dungeons they do stuff with other people now and then.
Right.
And some people just spend all their day crafting and gathering and decorating their houses and don't give a crap about anything else.
Yeah.
That's how you build houses.
And there's some people that are so heavily into the game that they're doing all the savage content. And they won't accept anybody into their party unless they're like super elite and like just really hardcore into it. And that's just a little too much for me. Like, I'm more of a
player. But the salty assholes and stuff are the salty assholes are they're like really I would call a small portion of the population. Most times, if you have a new player icon above your head, or if you tell them that I'm new, they'll be like, "Oh, well, this is how you do this."
Player dismissed.
I've never actually seen that happen before. That'd be bogus as hell.
I've been dismissed from parties before, but just because I couldn't keep up. Oh, the life of a healer.
I think you say like you. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. You and you being you seem to have kind of the same early on like thing because she came doing like stuff with people too because she kind of had that same situation where people just bad parties and stuff.
Yeah, well, I had one party. Like I remember, I even posted on the Final Fantasy blog. So triggered about it that somebody kicked me from the party. Because I was so bad as a healer. And granted, I wasn't even level 60 yet. Like, I was still very, very green in the game. But the tank was, like, definitely not a new player. Definitely a veteran. And he kept running and running and running. And obviously, as a white mage, I can't sit there and cast the heals at the same time.
I thought she was going to say as a white man.
As a white man.
As a white man, I can't be doing that.
But I couldn't do it, and I'd try to catch up, and I'd stop, and then he kept running, and then all of a sudden it said, "Oh, player's out of reach," or whatever, and I'm just like, "Well, goddamn!" And then you die, and I'm like, "Motherfucker, stop running!" Like I can't cast the heal. Like it's just really annoying, and I was very, very new in the game, and that really bugged me, like that kind of stuff, like just. Cooperate with me. Just say, "Hey, oh, you're new. Okay, I'll take it back a notch. It's fine." And most of the time, I will say you have parties like that.
I actually had a real world experience like that about 3 years ago. I went to take jiu-jitsu for a while, and the class was fantastic. I was learning a lot because I've been a martial artist since 2001. I'm sorry, 2000. But it had been a while since I studied, and I never studied jiu-jitsu like legit. and I was in this class, and it was my fourth class, and this big ass dude, blue belt, had came in there, and I'm sitting there, brand new to the class, and he is going hard on me like I'm some kind of freaking black belt, blue belt. He almost, it felt like he was about to break my arm, and I backed off. I was like, dude, you need to calm the hell down. Like, I have never been here and done this before, and you've done this for years. You need to slow the fuck up. Because you're really pissing me off, even though you probably could whoop my ass. But still, it's like, dude, calm down. It's like, why would you go that hard in the paint, Eric, if you know I'm brand new? So I feel you on that one. And with that being said, we are short for time, so I gotta cut the conversation short and move toward our game of the night, the end game, which is called Achievement Points. And this game is this game
Eric
is
points.
It's a trophy based game where I'm going to give the name of a trophy, and you guys have to guess the game. You get there's three possible answers, and you guys have to guess the game, and the person with the most points wins.
Good Lord. Why am I a little low-key terrified about this?
Don't be terrified. I tried to pick the ones that were not obvious, and everybody gets a chance. There's only 10 questions. I'll keep track of the points. So, again, achievement points. So get ready. All right. The first trophy is called Push Comes to Shove. And is this from Resident Evil 8, Biomutant, or Yakuza Like a Dragon?
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Resident Evil.
The other one, just to be different.
The other one.
Said, but let's go with the other one.
You're so silly. And the answer is Resident Evil 8. Kev gets the point.
I almost went with what Eric said because he sounded so confident in his answer.
Well,
He said Yakuza.
That he does. All right. The second trophy is called Treasure Displeasure. And is this from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Marvel Avengers, or Yakuza Like a Dragon?
Yakuza Like a Dragon. Shut up! No,
Yeah.
I said it first. You leave my ass.
I'm gonna say that too.
You guys can pick whatever answer you want, Eric. Don't be a jackass.
I know.
And everybody is correct. This one is from Yakuza Like a Dragon. This is one of my favorite trophies because you walk up to this treasure chest and then you open it up and this dude pops out and he does this weird dance. It's so funny.
That's like a Borderlands type thing.
Yeah, I know, right? And a Final Fantasy thing because that's happened to me in Final Fantasy and in Chrono Trigger. And the first thing that happened, I like freaked out. I was like, what the fuck? All right, the next trophy is called Watch the Waves. Is this from Maneater, Pathfinder, or Unraveled?
Pathfinder.
Maneater.
Unraveled.
All right, and I'm gonna put the points down. Hold on. There we go. The correct answer is Unraveled. Kim gets the points.
Totally disgust.
I love that game though. Unraveled is a gorgeous game. If you guys ever want to
I've never even seen a preview.
just chill and play with this game. Oh, a quick heads up. When this is all said and done, I'm going to do a bonus points episode, and I'm going to have the little 15-second videos of every one of these trophies so you guys can see. So stay tuned for that, folks, if you're listening. The next one is called Rough and Tumble. Is this from Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, or Marvel Avengers?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Kevin, what'd you say?
I said Scott Pilgrim.
Okay. It is actually from Marvel Avengers. Nobody gets the
Why does
point
it
on
see
that
that?
one.
Okay, so that trophy, that sounded so familiar to me. I was like, God, it sounds familiar. So I was like, Valhalla, I've played that game before.
That's why I picked it. The next one. The next trophy is called Shard Binder. Is this from, not Shark Binder, Shard Binder. Is this from Persona 5 Royale, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, or Time Spinners?
Bloodstained, whatever the hell, Bloodstained.
Bloodstained.
Wait, Kevin said Bloodstained. I'm changing it. I'm going to
Bloodstained
Persona
Ritual of the
5.
Night. This is why he
What?
loses.
Kim, how about
What?
you?
I still say Bloodstain.
Okay, Eric, are you changing your answer or are you keeping it?
Damn, I'm gonna keep it a Bloodstain.
You just want to get it wrong.
He's
I know,
he's,
probably you.
he's an angry elf.
No, Persona 5. Final answer.
What is it?
He said Persona 5.
Okay.
No takebacks.
No take back. The answer is Bloodstained, so Kevin and Kim
Whatever.
get a point.
Whatever. Next question.
You have to go with whoever sounds the most confident.
He just wants to go with whatever's not me.
And
Pretty
exactly,
much.
jackass. The next trophy is called Welcome to the Show. And is this from After Party, Indivisible, or Spider-Man Miles Morales?
Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I want to go with
What was
Spider-Man.
the first one you said?
The first one was After Party. The second one was
After Party.
Indivisible. And the third one was
I
Spider-Man.
think After Party.
Okay. And Eric gets the point. Blackout back on the board.
Aw.
Oh yeah,
Can you
because
platinum?
I
Can you
platinum
platinum
Spider-Man
Spider-Man?
Miles
No.
Morales, and I did not remember no trophy there.
I'm still somewhat in the beginning. It's picking up on story.
I trusted
Love that
you.
game.
I trusted you there.
All right, a few more left, guys. The next trophy is called Eye for an Eye. Is this from Little Nightmares, the game I wanted Kim to play but she never did, Resident Evil 8, or Cyber Shadow, the game that Eric had a very hard time playing?
Shut up. Kevin didn't do that much better.
I want to say Resident Evil.
The
It
first one.
sounds like a
The first
Resident
one you
Evil
said.
one, but what was the second thing you said?
The other options are Little Nightmares and Cyber Shadow.
I say Little Nightmares.
Kim?
I said the first one, whatever the thing you said the first.
Resident
I'm
Evil.
literally just guessing, but
guess
so
it.
I'm just going with the first one.
Okay, nobody gets that point. That was actually from Cyber Shadow. It's when you
Cyber
beat that
Shadow.
floating spider boss, which is one of the
Oh,
hard bosses.
Cyber Shadow wasn't the first one. I thought that's what you said with the first one.
I thought I said Resident Evil first.
I don't know. I was
She's
just
trolling you.
fucking with you.
Okay, I got you. 3 more to go. All right, the next one is called Master of the Household, and is this from Assassin's Creed Origins, Hitman
No.
3, or Little Nightmares 2?
Say Hitman 3.
What'd you say, John?
I said there's a
He's-
second
he's-
Little Nightmare.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Hitman.
Master of the House, you said?
Master of the Household.
I'm
Little
gonna say
Nightmares.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Kim?
I'm saying the other one.
Which one?
I don't remember.
one
what
you
was
need
the
Little
to-
other one.
Nightmares 2?
Little Nightmares 2,
No.
Hitman 3, and AC Origins.
What was the one that Kevin said?
I
Hitman.
said Hitman.
Hitman. It wasn't Hitman and it wasn't Origins. It was the other one.
Little Nightmares
You
3.
want-
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
You're so funny. And Kevin gets the point. It is Hitman 3.
I
Dang
knew
it!
it wasn't Origins. You know, I feel like I should get a point just for knowing it wasn't Origins. I fucking
That's not how it works.
no.
Two more to go.
on the next question.
2 more to go. All right, this next trophy is called The Giving Tree. Is this from Gravity Rush 2, Nier Automata, or Immortals Phoenix Rising?
Immortals Phoenix
I
Rising.
see.
Immortals.
Kevin?
I said the same thing.
Of course you did.
I said it wherever you were saying it.
All right, everybody
Won't
gets
answer.
a point. It was Immortals Phoenix Rise.
It's probably a good idea I didn't change
Yeah.
my answer.
All right, and the last one, which is one of my favorite trophies. Still got it. I probably shouldn't have said that. Damn it. Okay. Eric knows me a little bit on this one. The trophy is called Still Got It. Is this from Just Cause 4, a game which I actually really enjoyed playing. I never beat it, but I liked it. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, or Uncharted 4?
Uncharted 4. Final answer.
Yeah.
Uncharted 4.
Ah! Damn, Kevin.
Even if I got it wrong, you'd still lose. Shush.
I don't care.
Oh, boy.
You all got it wrong. It was just Cause 4.
Well, damn.
I'm joking.
Well,
it was
Eric,
actually
well-
Uncharted 4. You guys all got it right.
So,
And the
Like,
winner of the
what do you
game,
Yeah,
With-
Kevin. Yeah, we know.
you
Yeah,
are
yeah,
correct.
yeah,
Although
yeah.
Kim was very close behind by 1 point.
1 point.
Really?
I was down by
Are you
2
that
because
close?
my one.
I was really just kind of guessing my way through.
Just like everybody else was. And that was achievement points. Did you guys enjoy that game?
I did not because I lost.
next time we'll do
Kevin's like up by 2 or 3 points now. I don't like this.
Oh, that's right. I got
Next time is it gonna be a 4 players Mario Kart race?
Sure. That's gonna be interesting.
You gotta be able to get points too, right?
Yeah, sure. So, with that being said, this has been a great episode of Experience Points Podcast. I'm glad that everybody is back. I've missed the hell out of you guys. It's been a crazy ass year. And with that being said, I'm glad that we are back. And until next time, gamers, keep on.
Leveling up.
That's right. Double chicken.
Still slightly bootleg, but it's all right.